Welcome to Wayne County Connection. I'm your host, Michael Sweigart. Thank you for joining us for another exciting episode as we promote Wayne County as a great place to work, live, and play. We want to encourage you to do your part to get involved as well. Obviously, you can connect with the guests that we're highlighting today in today's program, but you can find out other events that are going on in Wayne County at the waynet.org calendar. You can find their links there from our webpage, waynet.org/cc. I encourage you to visit that webpage, again, for links to today's guests, past guests, and also to share the on-demand and streaming versions of our program for viewers who may not be able to catch it during its normal air times or who are outside of Wayne County. Please promote Wayne County as a great place to work, live, and play by making those connections. Today's program, we have two guests. First, we are going to meet with Corey DeBoom, and he is from the State Department of Natural Resources in the Fish and Wildlife Division, and we'll learn more about that. And then later, stay tuned to the program as we talk with Christy Ridgway, a naturalist and biologist at Whitewater and Brookville State Properties. So join me now in welcoming to the program Corey DeBoom. Again, you're the District 4 Fisheries Biologist at the Indiana Department of Natural Resources, Division of Fish and Wildlife. Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
So that looks like a really big title. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself for our guests who probably have not heard of you or don't know what you do for the Department of Natural Resources?
Sure. So my name is Corey DeBoom. I'm the District 4 Fisheries Management Biologist with the Indiana Division of Fish and Wildlife. And my district covers central Indiana, 22 counties from border to border, all the way from Vermilion County in the west, all the way to Wayne County in the east. And we work on all of the public streams and lakes in those 22 counties, helping to manage and conserve the fishing resources for the state.
That seems like a really big job that you have managing all of those waterways.
It is a big job, but it's a lot of fun.
So specifically, when you talk about Wayne County and the properties and fisheries that you manage here, what are the properties in Wayne County that are overseen by the Department of Natural Resources?
So we have 3 properties that we work with within Fish and Wildlife and the fishery section there in Wayne County. The first one would be Middle Fork Reservoir, which is in Richmond, which is managed by Richmond Parks and Recreation, and we take on the role of fisheries resource management in partnership with them. They also work at a property called Miller Park, which is in Richmond, and we also provide those services at that location. And then we have an actual Division of Fish and Wildlife owned property near Jacksonburg, which is northeast of Cambridge City by about 6 miles. It's called the Martindale State Fishing Area.
And a lot of our viewers probably are familiar with Middle Fork Reservoir and with the ponds there in Glen Miller Park, but probably not as familiar with the Martindale fishing area. There are signs on the state roads as you drive past, but it's a lesser known property in our area. So could you tell our viewers a little bit more about that state property and what kind of activities are there? Sure.
So Martindale is what we call a state fishing area or a public fishing area. These are properties that are owned and managed by DNR within the Division of Fish and Wildlife, expressly for the purpose of providing fishing and outdoor recreation opportunities. Martindale was actually created when Interstate 70 was built, and it was purchased by the Division of Fish and Wildlife in the late 1960s, and we have been managing it ever since as a fishing area. So if you go to Martindale, what you'll find there's a 15-acre lake that we manage. There's a boat ramp there, so there's easy access in and out. There's about a half-acre of green space and a picnic area there, and also some walking trails around the outside of the lake that you'll find.
So it sounds like it could be used by people who are interested in things other than just fishing.
Absolutely. So if you're just looking for a place to get outside, maybe have a picnic or go for a walk, maybe do some bird watching, things of that nature, or just a place to relax and look at the water. And it's in a nice rural setting too, so it's a pleasing place to be.
Even if near Interstate 70, it gives you the idea that you're not in the middle of everywhere.
Sure.
Sure. So what rules or guidelines are in effect for viewer or for visitors who might go out there? Let's talk about in general and then each of the activities in particular.
So in general, these Fish and Wildlife owned properties don't have a lot of specific requirements in terms of access or permits or anything. There is no entrance fee, so it's free to access. The only requirements would be, meeting the state requirements for registration if you have a boat, or if you're going to engage in fishing, having a state-issued fishing license, which is required for everybody over 18. So those would be the main.
And that fishing license would be required either at Martindale or at Middle Fork.
Yeah, so any publicly owned waterways that you're going to fish in the state would require the fishing license.
And if somebody is maybe thinking of a new activity this summer that is not familiar with fishing as a recreational activity in the state, where can one acquire a fishing license?
So there's three basic ways that you can get a fishing license. Probably the simplest would be just to go to our website online. So you can go to on.in.gov/IN hunt fish. And on there, you can access our online licensing system where you can purchase a license. You can also go in person to a licensed vendor, which would be most of your sporting goods stores and larger retailers. And you can also purchase a license by phone. So you can call our hotline. It's 877-463-6367, and you can purchase it over the phone as well.
And is that license only good for one property, or is it good throughout the state? And for how long?
That license would be good throughout the state, and it runs generally from March 31st through March 31st of the next calendar year.
And you said that's only required for people who are age 18 and older.
18 and older, that's correct.
Okay, so if I wanted to take my kids or a scout troop or a group of 4-H'ers, as long as the adults are licensed, the kids could fish with no additional cost.
That's correct.
And then at Martindale and Middle Fork, where there is fishing, is that a catch and fry, or is it a catch and release system?
So all of those resources are managed under statewide fishing regulations. So we have general regulations for fish management that apply at all the public properties that we manage. You can find those on our website. Also, those retailers where you would go and purchase your fishing license, you should be able to find a copy of our fishing guide. So that's the main place where you can find information on fishing in the state and public water, and all of our regulations and things are in here. So you can access that on our website, or you can pick it up in person, but it's a good resource to have before you go out.
That sounds great. I know that sometimes it's a little confusing, and so we want to be able to get our viewers as much information as possible there. Now, you say you manage those properties. Do you stock with native fish or with game fish at those properties? And about how frequently does that happen?
So two of those properties, so Martindale and also Miller Park, we do stock channel catfish there. We stock both of those properties with channel catfish each fall. So those populations are maintained through stocking. The fish in Middle Fork Reservoir are maintained through natural reproduction.
That sounds really interesting. If a viewer has questions, is the best way to get that through the website, or should they call or just show up?
Probably the best resource would be our website. So it's in.gov/DNR/fishwild. So most of the common questions can be answered there. If you can't find your answer there, you can shoot us an email at the Division of Fish and Wildlife, and that is dfw@dnr.in.gov, or you can call the DNR customer service. So that's 317-232-4200.
And are you available, or someone from your department available, to come and speak to groups to give information about fish and wildlife management or fishing in the state of Indiana?
Yes, absolutely. So if you're interested in having persons like myself within the fisheries section come and speak about fish management or the work we do, aquatic conservation. We're always open to doing that. But we also have a Learn to Fish program, a statewide program called Learn to Fish, which is run by my colleague, Clint Kowalik. And you can find information about that program on our website, or you can email Clint. It's learn2fish, learn2fish at dnr.in.gov. And so as part of that program, we do a number of things. One of the main ones is we do Learn to Fish workshops around the state. So there's workshops you can register for and come in person and learn some basic fishing skills. We also do public fishing events through that program. So we'll host public fishing events around the state where you can come and try fishing and learn some skills. And then the third part of that program is what we call the crew captain workshops. So Clint will go around the state and he'll actually train local leaders in sport fish education so that they can then take our programming out and become sport fishing educators themselves.
That sounds like a really comprehensive program, Corey. Corey DeBoom, the District 4 Fisheries Biologist from the Indiana DNR Fish and Wildlife Division. I really want to thank you for coming on the program today to talk about fishing activities that are available here in Wayne County.
Thought I could be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we encourage you to do your part and get connected with Corey. Again, we'll have those links on our webpage and get you connected. Get out and fish this summer, either yourself or with your family or a group of people that just enjoy being outdoors. Thanks, Corey. We'll see you on the lake.
Thank you.
Welcome to another segment of Wayne County Connection, promoting Wayne County as a great place to work, live, and play. In this segment, we are inviting Christy Ridgway, an interpretive naturalist from Brookville and Whitewater State Parks, to join us to talk about what you can do nearby in Wayne County this summer. Christy, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
As always, I like to start our segments by introducing our viewers to our guest. And so I'd like to ask you to tell us a little bit more about yourself. I've introduced you as an interpretive naturalist at Brookville and Whitewater Parks, but I would like you to tell us a little bit more about that and your background.
Sure. So this will actually be my 11th summer with the Indiana DNR. I decided that this is the career I wanted to pursue when I was 9 years old, and I stuck to it ever since. I started my journey with the DNR at Salamone Lake, which is in northern Indiana. I then worked at Turkey Run State Park and Shade State Parks for a period of time. And then I started my full-time career at Clifty Falls State Park. So that was my first property as a full-time naturalist. And then when this position opened here at Brookville Lake and Whitewater Memorial State Park, I transferred. So I'm actually the first full-time interpretive naturalist that this property has had. And I saw it as a really exciting opportunity and a great place to kind of reach out to the local communities that perhaps haven't seen interpretive programming or things of that nature before.
That's a very interesting career path there all around the state of Indiana. Are you a native Hoosier?
I am. I grew up in Hartford City, Indiana.
Ah, so not very far away, even though not a Wayne County resident. Yeah. So for our viewers that may not know, tell us a little bit more about what interpretive naturalists do. What is your role and how do you engage with visitors?
Sure. So interpretive naturalists, kind of our goal at a state park or reservoir is to make some sort of connection with our visitors and the resources that we have, whether they be natural resources or cultural resources. Whatever the story is at our site, we try to touch the hearts and the minds of people that come to the properties and just kind of expand their knowledge about what we have going on at our site and all the neat things they can do and experience at our properties. So we're just trying to make those connections.
So do you run organized programs then at Whitewater and Brookville Lake?
We do. So our programs, we usually develop monthly program schedules, and we run these programs. We have a variety throughout the year. And then if you're here on property, you can pick up a program schedule at our main offices at both Brookville and Whitewater. They're at our gatehouses, they're at our camp stores. So most every place you can find one. We also have a variety of bulletin boards throughout the property so you can see what's going on. So we do offer traditional public programming here at the property, but we also offer specialized group programming here at the property as well as offsite.
Well, that's a lot of information. I'd like to cover all of it. But one of the big questions that I want to answer right now for our viewers is, in light of all of the shutdowns and reopenings that have occurred throughout 2020 so far, what is open at Whitewater and Brookville right now, and what can people expect if they were to visit one of the properties?
Yeah, so there are still all kinds of tremendous outdoor activities that you can come and participate in. So our hiking trails are open for those of you that like to hit the woods. And our locations that I mentioned for our interpretive programs, our offices and gatehouses, they also have property maps that have our trail maps on them. So make sure you grab one of those before you head out on your adventure. We do also have a variety of, you can even just drive through the property if hiking's not your thing and see the beautiful sights of summer. Our programming, you can come and visit for that. We've got 3 beaches. Whitewater Memorial State Park, Quakertown State Recreation Area, and Mound State Recreation Area all have beaches where you can swim. We have multiple areas where you can access the lake, if you have a vessel of some sort, kayak, canoe, boat. And then at Whitewater, we actually have a boat rental facility that you can come, and we have kayaks and canoes and paddle boats and things that you can rent to get out on the lake that way, on Whitewater Lake.
So it sounds like there's still a lot going on, even with the various restrictions that have been placed on operations in the state through the COVID crisis.
Yes.
The focus of our program, however, is Wayne County, and all we've mentioned so far are things that are available outside of Wayne County, although it's a short drive down to the properties, and people will like and enjoy those properties. We would like to talk about the connection with Wayne County. And you mentioned that there are group programs available. And we talked before the show, and this is leading me into the question, what kinds of programs are available in Wayne County? What can you do as an interpretive naturalist for groups or schools or agencies here to bring nature to them, as it were?
Yeah, so we do offer on-site programming. So any organization in Wayne County that would like to come on out for a visit, either we can lead a hike or we can do a traditional sit-down program at one of our open-air shelters. If they would like to come and see us, we would love to have them, and they're absolutely welcome. But we can also go to them if that's not an easy avenue for them to actually travel to us. We can travel to them. So we visit schools, traditional public school. We visit homeschool groups. We visit 4-H groups, all kinds of things. So if there's an organization that has an idea for a program that they're looking for, if they contact me, we can kind of work together to develop something that their group is interested in and that would benefit them. And then we also have a list of standard programs that we do offer for organizations if they're not quite sure what they want, but we have a list that they can pick from. So we'd love to meet you one way or the other.
Well, that sounded really interesting. My question was, well, what if the group thought having an interpretive naturalist might be a good idea, but had no idea what topic would be of interest to their groups? So what are some of those canned, as it were, programs that you have available?
Sure. So one of our most popular ones for schools and even other agencies too are our live animals. So we do have live reptiles and amphibians that are education critters. Their purpose with us is to help educate people about conservation and a message for protection and habitat restoration and things of that nature. So we do have a few critters in our office here, actually, that I'm in now. I'm looking at all of them, but they travel with me all over the state and help educate all types of groups and organizations about conservation and what we can do to help them.
Well, that sounds interesting. And you said, mentioned earlier, as we were talking, you mentioned garden groups might have an interest in your programming, schools and other agencies. What if it was just like a service agency or a service club? Do you do programs for those as well?
Yeah, so really the best way to find out if we can work together and come up with a way to bring our programming to you or bring you to the property is just to give me a call. And then we can work through what you're interested in and what we're capable of. And we can always meet somewhere in the middle and usually find something that interests both parties.
Unfortunately, in this time of crisis or recovery, we do need to be concerned about safety and social distancing. And we mentioned the programs that are available at Brookville and Whitewater right now. Are there any special considerations that our viewers might need to take if they were to visit the property?
Sure, that's a great question. So one thing that we have in several areas throughout our property is our owls standards. So these are just kind of ways that we are hoping folks visit our property. So if you're healthy and doing well, come on out and have a great time with us. But the OWLS acronym that we're asking folks to adhere to is O is for own it. So take responsibility for yourself and your family by staying to the guidelines. W is wash it. So wash your hands and sanitize them frequently. L is limit touch. So when you're in areas that are public areas, like our camp stores and things like that, just limit the items that you're touching. And then S is for social distancing. So that keeping 6 feet away from you and others. So we are encouraging people to come out to the property and recreate, but if you can, try to stay with your family groups and then about 6 feet away from others. And that's going to help protect yourself, your family, our other visitors, and our staff. And
then, of course, all of the normal and leave no trace principles if you're on the trails and whatever and going through the park to kind of continue that, enjoy nature, but don't disturb it in any way while you're on the property.
We do have a carry-in, carry-out policy. So whatever you bring with you, we ask that you take it home as well.
Okay. Except for the memories that you're going to generate while you're there. Those are all new and you get to leave with those as well. Those are great. So, Christy, you mentioned a couple of times the properties and call me. And one of the things that I want to do is make sure that our viewers know how to connect with you. So if you could go over those ways to get connected, either to visit the properties, where are they, and how can we learn more?
Yeah, so the properties are within reach of Wayne County visitors. The Whitewater Memorial State Park is about 20 to 25 minutes south of Richmond. And we really hope that you folks make it down this way. And then Mound State Recreation Area and Quakertown State Recreation Area are just a little further south on 101. The furthest you'll go is probably about 17 minutes outside of Whitewater. So we're hoping that you folks come and visit us. And then what was the other question? I'm sorry.
To get in touch with you for those programs you mentioned,
yes,
with you coming to Wayne County.
Absolutely. So how to get in touch with me? I can be reached via phone at the Mound State Recreation Area office. That phone number is 765-647-2657. And then I can also be reached via email. My email address is KRIDGWAY@dnr.in.gov.
Okay. And do you have any other comments that you'd like to make to our guests as we wrap up this segment?
Yeah, hopefully we just get to see you this summer. I know that this has been kind of a long haul of everyone being indoors, and we just ask that when you come out, you again, follow our owls and make sure that you are taking ownership of your own safety, but also keeping in mind the safety of others around you. And we still encourage you to come out and get some fresh air and experience the properties and all they have to offer. Our campgrounds are open now, so come on out and camp for a couple nights with us. There's lots of ways to enjoy the outdoors right now in a safe way, so we hope to see you.
Christy Ridgway, interpretive naturalist at Brookville and Whitewater State Parks down in Union County, but we do invite you to visit her there or to ask her to come to Wayne County and visit your group or your program. Christy, thanks for being on the program.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks for watching another episode of Wayne County Connection on WGTV Channel 11. Today's guests, Christy Ridgway and Corey DeBoom, are excited to promote DNR properties in and around Wayne County and the ways that you can get involved. And we encourage you to do your part and get connected with them. On behalf of Jane Holman, our producer, the staff here at Whitewater Community Television, the Wayne County Commissioners, I'm Michael Sweigart, your host. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next month.